Wait. Before this video starts, I just want to say if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate if you would hit subscribe for this channel. We just hit 100 subs and the support for me and my content keeps getting higher, so thank you to everyone in the Horde for helping us reach this amazing milestone. We're gonna try and keep this going as we reach for our big goal of 1,000 subs, which would be crazy, so help us reach our next goal by subscribing. Thanks for subbing if you did, let's get on with the video. What's going on, everyone, and how's it hanging in the Horde? I hope all of you are doing well. My name's Ryujin383, and we're finally back continuing my most popular series here on YouTube with another Overwatch 2 Legendary Skin ranking. As you can tell from clicking on this video, today we're going to be ranking all of the legendary skins for Baptiste in Overwatch 2. This video will only cover skins out as of this recording, so be aware if you're watching this in the distant future, there may be a skin not featured on this list. Another disclaimer before we start, this list is based entirely on my personal opinion. If I rank a skin in a way you disagree with, feel free to let me know in the comments below how you'd rank these skins yourself. I simply make these lists for fun and to celebrate my passion for this game in a unique way. This series is also ultimately put forward by you guys, the viewers, both in and out of the Horde, so make sure to leave your suggestions as to who we should rank next in the comments below. The next time we do one of these will be for a damage hero, and you can see which characters we've already ranked by checking out the full playlist for this series available on my channel page or in the description below. If no suggestions are made, I end up picking what character gets ranked, and you may not like who I pick. So please leave your suggestions, it really helps out. With all of that said, let's go ahead and jump on into Baptiste's legendary skins, starting with our epic skin honorable mention. My honorable mention pick this time around is this epic skin from the Lunar New Year event on Overwatch 1, the Terracotta Medic outfit. This was available during the 2021 Year of the Ox as one of the weekly challenge rewards that you could receive simply by playing a certain amount of games during a specific week of the event. I believe I've seen it pop up in the shop here in Overwatch 2 a couple of times, as many of the weekly challenge skins from Overwatch 1 have returned that way. However, I don't entirely know if that's true, so just keep that in mind. Terracotta Medic is absolutely insane, and I'm honestly a bit surprised that it's not considered a legendary outfit. It's obvious that many of the design elements are carried over from default BAP, however, there are plenty of other things that aren't carried over, such as his new haircut up here and this mustache. Taking a closer look at his face, it's actually quite different from how it regularly looks, and it also doesn't make any expressions like other BAP skins because it's made entirely out of stone. I consider this to be a top tier epic skin, and I love everything about it. It's got a very unique look that not many other skins resemble, and it's also fitting to have a skin inspired by the Chinese terracotta warriors for the Lunar New Year event. If they had changed around maybe how this armor looked and the gun ever so slightly, this could be an incredible legendary skin. Now that we've gotten onto the topic though, let's go ahead and boost into last place on this legendary skin ranking video.
Captain!
Yeah?
Oh, no! Dude, we have so much shit to do! Holy fucking shit! No!
I'm not gonna lie to you guys or try to sugarcoat this at all. I'm already kind of struggling with this video, not even joking. I have to have rearranged this list like 3 different times, and then I've also had to go back and re-record a whole bunch of it just to adjust the changes I made. My work schedule is crazy as hell these days, so then I took a couple days off for vacation from that crazy work schedule, and now I'm back in my recording studio and can't even make a good joke about this skin either. It's just really frustrating sometimes, you know? Like, are you kidding me right now? That was probably the dumbest setup I've ever made for a joke. You can go ahead and type -2 in the comments for that one. Sailing into dead last on my ranking, we have this base legendary skin from Overwatch 1, Pirate. To be honest, Baptiste's skin locker in this game has a fairly broad sense of variety when it comes to quality. Baptiste also only has 12 legendaries in the entire game, which is a pretty shockingly low number. In my opinion, a good Bap skin is one that is fun and also good looking. And unfortunately for Pirate, to me this skin is nothing short of mediocre and tasteless. nuts. I have never seen anybody wear this skin for Baptiste in the history of my entire Overwatch career, and it's pretty obvious as to why. The outfit is almost entirely this darker brown slash black color, and the only highlights really come from these bits of silver that accentuate his armor, and the occasional brighter reds like on the pants. I guess there's also this lit up fuse on the bottom of this backpack here that could also attract your attention, but it's not all that. Nothing really excites me about Pirate Baptiste, and I feel like that's what this design is missing. It's very boring to look at, and there's no flair to it. Having flair is literally what makes pirates so cool. To have a whole entire pirate outfit and not have anything interesting to say about it is an achievement in and of itself. Then once you finally get past the colors, there are so many unnecessary details that are tacked onto this fit, I feel like I'm going to experience pirate overload. It's as if the design team slapped on every single piece of pirate clothing ever made all at once. To give you a rundown of some of the highlights, they gave him a bandana up here, a red glowing eye patch, dangly earrings, a tied up beard that is also different from his default beard, not just in how it looks but the color, and you can also still kind of see the default beard underneath all of it, a belt across his chest that is also exposed and has a scar that is visible, this pirate overcoat here that also only has one sleeve. It's like they just cut out the entire midsection of the sleeve. This thing that normally goes over like a prince's shoulder or something, like you'd see in old princess movies. What the f*** is this thing called? Apparently, upon further research, it's an epaulette, which I think is a stupid name for a glorified shoulder pad. Anyways, a sword on his back in the most dangerous position possible. Like, if he leans too far forward, this thing is gonna cut through his shoulder. A backpack that's also in the shape of a barrel, but also has a bomb attached to it. Striped, baggy pants. Wooden boots that look like he's wearing the plank instead of walking on it, and they're spiky for no real reason. And finally, he's got a pin with an anchor on it, because what other symbol would a pirate use aside from a f***ing anchor? Pirate Baptiste has a boring color scheme and is the equivalent of a pirate throwing up on somebody. It's uninteresting, hardly recognizable, and I totally understand why no one wears this outfit, so that's why I think it deserves last place, guaranteed.
You guys say Colorado!
I don't know anything about snowboarding at all, so this is yet another situation I've found myself in where I can't really make a good joke about it. I'm from the South too, so I've only seen snow like maybe 3 times in my entire life, which also makes my experience on this topic very limited. The only things that come to my mind when I think about snowboarding are DK Summit from Mario Kart Wii and Johnny Tsunami, a Disney Channel movie about a surfer learning to snowboard that I never personally liked. Also, I think Tony Hawk snowed on a board once or something. I don't really know. Before the Disney Channel stands come to destroy me, we're gonna move on to 11th place here, where we have Baptiste's Winter Wonderland Christmas event skin from Overwatch 1, Snowboarder. Right off of the bat, this outfit is really dull. There's practically nothing to look at here, and I might as well be staring into an endless void. Starting with the colors, Snowboarder is almost entirely this boring shade of dark gray. Then it's this other shade of boring gray. Then it's this other shade of boring gray that's also slightly blue. And then it's just pure white. The only thing that really catches your eye are the several spots of bright green, such as here on this striped part of his shirt, the clips for his backpack here, and certain pieces of his gun. In real life, I'm sure those bright green pieces of clothing are probably great for finding stragglers in an avalanche, but for a first-person shooter game, maybe wearing bright green is a bad idea. He's also got this nice folded-up snowboard sitting on top of his backpack here, and I do think it's neat, but you're hardly going to notice it at all in game, so it feels like it doesn't really matter that it's there. The only other super noticeable element on Snowboarder are these ski goggles he's wearing, or maybe they're called snow goggles. I don't know if there's a difference. Regardless, I think they're bright, fun, and definitely the best part about this design. In fact, it's really the only thing I do like about this design. Snowboarder to me is very simple, and while it makes sense for a real-life person to wear, it doesn't really fit that much in the world of Overwatch. I know that sounds crazy to say given that most outfits don't really look like they belong in Overwatch. My point is, Snowboarder sacrifices its own appeal by trying to look more realistic than trying to be zany and fun in the context of a futuristic shooter game like Overwatch. Think about it this way. If Candy Crush Wrecking Ball, Genos Genji, and biblically accurate Lifeweaver all pull up on you, are you really gonna question it? Alternatively, if you try to flank me as Snowboarder Baptiste, office worker Zarya, and McDonald's employee Tracer, I know you're a government psyop and you hate having fun. Snowboarder is okay. Oh, were you waiting for the rest of that sentence? Sorry, I mean, that was it. It's just okay. Let's move on then, shall we? Before this gets more awkward.
Yep, guess time.
So, it seems like the Overwatch Met Gala strikes again, huh, fellas? I know there isn't a single Overwatch character that would pay $75,000 to get a seat at an event like that, only to show up wearing something like this. Although, they did just collab with Porsche, so Blizzard's probably got even more money than that. Anyways, eat the rich, fuck the Met Gala. We've got bigger fish to fry in this messed up world than your annual party where everyone dresses up as their favorite Hunger Games OC. Striking a pose at 10th place is another Winter Wonderland Christmas event legendary, this time from Overwatch 2, Formal Wear Baptiste. This is one of Bap's latest skins to be released in Overwatch 2, dropping a few months ago during Christmas of 2023 for the new Winter Fair event. I've explained how this event worked in previous skin rankings that I've done, but to sum it up really quickly for those of you out of the loop, the Winter Fair was a revamped take on the Winter Wonderland event. Essentially, you got tickets by playing matches or by buying them, and you could then spend those tickets on limited time cosmetics, including a set of formal wear skins like this Baptiste one. The event was also fairly mid by the end because the only way you could get all these free cosmetics was surprisingly not for free. So, if you played during the Winter Fair, odds are you probably got at least one of these formal wear skins. I think the Winter Fair could have been better if, first of all, you could have actually earned everything from that event for free. Secondly, it could have been better if the skins they were giving away for free were actually good and made it feel worth it. The formal wear outfits aren't atrociously bad, but they are very atrociously neutral, if that makes sense. Baptiste is also one of the most plain of the whole bunch in my opinion. The outfit is a simple blank canvas that has this one gold embroidered pattern on it. The only other part that stands out are these boots, but I'm not gonna risk people saying something freaky like I have a foot fetish or something by saying I enjoy the boots. I don't, okay, you sicko? The whole outfit feels like a glorified suit, and if you stop to think about that for even a second, that's pretty lame. Formal wear is bad, and even getting it for free isn't enough to convince me to overlook that.
Be advised, enemies have deployed Freddy Fazbear into the AO, and he's feeling a bit quirky tonight.
I think maybe I opened the wrong Activision Blizzard game, because why does Baptiste look like the latest operator to land in REDUX? Or Verdansk? How the fuck do you say that? If you couldn't tell, I don't actually play Call of Duty. I'm sorry, that's the only map I know off the top of my head. And I guess Shipment. Anyways, play Call of Duty Black Ops 6 when it releases later this year. Dropping in at 9th place is another Overwatch 1 base legendary. We have Spec Ops. This design has the most recolors out of all of Baptiste's wardrobe, so don't be too surprised if a few similar designs pop up later in this video. Judging by the fact this is the first time I'm bringing it up, and given how far into this video we are, it's safe to assume that Spec Ops is my least favorite among this archetype of skins. Of the multiple versions of this design, Spec Ops is my least favorite for two main reasons. My first reason is that this is the color scheme I enjoy the least out of the other variations. The pairing of this carbon fiber black armor and the light blue underglow is good, but I think the others have a much cooler aesthetic than this. Spec Ops also seems to rely entirely on this dark black color, which of course makes sense for a skin that was made with special operations in mind. While it makes sense, it being almost entirely one color is unappealing to me personally. There's not enough of the blue lighting anywhere that really makes it stand out or noticeable, so it also ends up feeling underwhelming. The second main reason I don't like Spec Ops compared to the other designs is that I do not care for this eye patch thingy that he's wearing. The other versions either have a better color choice or don't have this eye patch look. The way it looks doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and I think that's why it bothers me the most. Like, if it had visible lenses appear on both eyes here, I could see it being night vision goggles, but it only covers one eye. I don't know if there's technology designed like that in real life that these could be modeled after. The second eye is also entirely covered by a cloth bandage, which doesn't seem like a good idea, but what do I know? In the end, it looks off to me because of that, and even if they are based in reality, it doesn't change how stupid I think the goggles are. Spec Ops is nothing special, and while that may sound harsh, it's really because the other recolors do a better job at selling this design.
Defend the objective, or don't. Honestly, I don't even care anymore.
I know I said to keep an eye out for this design only a few short minutes ago, but just to reiterate, I was swapping around the skins on this list constantly before I landed on my final decisions. It was really tough this time around. Popping up in 8th place is another recolor for the skin we just looked at, this one coming from one of the Overwatch 1 Anniversary Remix events, Arctic Ops. This one suffers from the same problem I had with Spec Ops, and that's why I chose to move it down on my list to right after it. I do like this color scheme a lot more than Spec Ops, but I came to see that it has the exact same setup as the aforementioned skin. Arctic Ops remains primarily one color with this pure white armor all over it, relying too much on this solid color without really adding much else. I do believe that these underglow lights are a bit better than they were on Spec Ops, what with them having the brightness turned up ever so slightly, but they are fairly similar colors to the lights on Spec Ops. It's still cool, albeit a little disappointing. The biggest change with this recolor comes from the patches of this reflective blue metal that are on smaller parts of the armor. The blue metal does successfully make the lights a tad more noticeable and gives this recolor some more flair than the previous one. Ultimately, I think this recolor is better than Spec Ops. However, Arctic Ops keeps the same idea by relying almost entirely on this one solid color. While it again makes sense for an Arctic recon-themed skin, it's still unappealing to me by using a blank color as a crutch. I also don't have much else to say about this skin either, because I already said the rest of my points when I was talking about Spec Ops. Arctic Ops manages to make a significant improvement to its counterpart, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't manage to make itself stand out enough from the former design Shadow to warrant a much higher placement in this ranking video. Honestly, it would have been a whole lot better if they got rid of this eye patch thing.
Forget about touching grass. I need to touch the sea. I need to go in the water. I need to dive in the sea. I need to go in there. I'm going in.
You know, something about this design makes me want to sing a sea shanty. I only know like one line from that Drunken Sailor one, and the other shanty I know is the SpongeBob theme song. A pirate sings it, it's a shanty, don't come at me. To be fair though, I think one of those will get me copyright struck. So, what would you do with a drunken sailor? Floating through 8th place on this legendary skin ranking, we have another base legendary from Overwatch 1, the counterpart to Pirate. This is Buccaneer. Buccaneer was originally a lot lower on my list. Like a lot lower. But as I mentioned before, I did keep having to remake this list. I finally decided on giving Buccaneer this spot on the ranking because I came to the conclusion that Buccaneer, while it isn't really a good skin in my opinion, is certainly more fun than the other ones I've covered so far. Buccaneer shares all the same elements as Pirate, including the same existential midlife crisis of pirate brain rot, but the thing that separates the two so far apart from each other is the color changes. The range of colors here on Buccaneer compared to Pirate is astounding, and it also makes this version a hell of a lot more fun. I particularly love the brighter and more noticeable colors, such as this bright scarlet coat and the new baggy pants that have this blue stripe pattern. The gold trim is also somewhat less noticeable than the silver one on Pirate, but it still looks incredible here on Buccaneer. Even the barrel stands out a little bit more than the previous one, although I guess it still has a bomb on it. Apart from the more enticing colors though, Buccaneer isn't any different, and therefore I thought it didn't deserve a much higher position on my ranking. It's got all the same bits and pieces, but at least the colors make those bits and pieces actually stand out. Buccaneer manages to make a formerly drab outfit a ton more fun with this palette swap, but ultimately shares a bit too much with its counterpart in the long run, leaving it at this position on my ranking.
Be advised, you should stop playing this game and go touch some grass, you little virgin.
I was going to try and make an unnecessarily convoluted joke about the military, but then I realized I don't have to put in all that hard work after all. Like, why bother making this more complicated than it needs to be, when the military is already a joke?
Oh no, this can't be.
No. Wait.
Oh man, I mean, I crack myself up sometimes. Really, there's a lot of talent that goes into this. Coming at you at 6th place, we have the last of Baptiste base legendary skins from Overwatch 1, the final recolor of this trilogy. This is Desert Ops. Of the 3 versions of this skin, Desert is my favorite because it gets rid of all the problems I had prior with the other 2 versions, Spec Ops and Arctic Ops. Well, maybe not all of my problems. I don't like the look that this style goes for in any of the multiple versions. In general, this design chooses to put focus on one color to make this blank background armor, but here on Desert Ops, it's at least slightly improved. The improvement to me comes in the form of these changes to the typical armor appearance, by utilizing a camo wrap on all of it, instead of just using one solid blank color. I do consider that a definite improvement since it's got more than one base armor color. However, I'm not super into camo. This bright green underglow for the armor is also a nice touch. It gives a very Xbox shooter game vibe. By far the biggest improvement to this design comes from Baptiste's new visor. It replaces that confusing eye patch cloth combo, and it reminds me of one of those power scanners from Dragon Ball Z. Desert Ops is easily my favorite of Baptiste's base legendaries, yet despite that, it's not really a super big favorite of mine. Truthfully, the only thing I really enjoy about Desert Ops is the DBZ power scanner. While I'm being honest, none of the skins we've covered on this list so far have been skins I actually enjoy though. Most of them are straight up bad in my opinion, or they're like Desert Ops here where I have a fairly neutral opinion. I don't love Desert Ops, but I don't feel any capacity to hate it. I think Bap's skin locker is very underwhelming for such a cool and fun character, so hopefully in the future he can continue to get some absolutely bombastic outfits. For now though, many of his skins will just remain mediocre to me, so let's finally move on to the good stuff.
Oh, these are pretty cool bananas.
By the time this video goes live, I'll have probably gone and gotten back from my vacation, so I can relate heavily to this skin. Chillaxing on the beach is definitely my kind of chillaxing. Kicking off the top 5 on this ranking, we have this Summer Games event skin from Overwatch 1, Tropical Baptiste. This is really one of Bap's most fun skins, and is a solid legendary, even though its design is kind of simple. I do think this design is okay, just to be clear. Like, the outfit is fine and not anything super special, but the vibe and feeling it gives off as a whole is wonderful. Tropical is just fun to wear and sells that summer experience, and I believe it does a good enough job sticking to its theme that it warrants this much praise. I particularly enjoy the color of his shirt here, along with this shark tooth necklace hanging off of his chest. I like how his visor was replaced with these nice shades, finding a way to keep an essential element of his design while making it change to fit his new look. His armor is really unique, such as here on the backpack and the leg padding on his boots. It appears as this basket woven material, which is really cool and resembles a lot of tropical designs. The best part about Tropical Baptiste has to be the gun by far. The coconut clip or magazine, although I do think coconut clip sounds better, or whatever you call the ammo storage, is a fantastic idea, and I think it was executed perfectly. The little sprout that's hanging off here that has like jiggle physics is also just fun and cutesy, and I like how the barrel of the gun was also made out of this bamboo shaft. Tropical Baptiste is a great skin that exudes a fun-loving summer vibe, and despite its simple and straightforward look, sometimes simplicity is bliss. Tropical Bap definitely deserves a spot of recognition, landing it here on my ranking. Oh yeah, you know exactly what time it is. Spinning into 4th place, we have this Baptiste skin from the anniversary event on Overwatch 1, Funky. I said previously with Tropical that it was one of his most fun skins, but to me, Funky is easily Baptiste's most fun skin, period. There's not really anything I have to complain about with this skin, so I'm just gonna go through all of my favorite pieces. Starting with the most obvious one, his afro and beard combo is legendary. The amber shades that go with it to match are also incredibly hard. I love this maroon leather jacket and the belt strap combo for the backpack. It's super cool, and I also love the pairing it has with this gold flower shirt and the gold support necklace. The belt he has on also spells out groovy, and it reminds me a lot of Cassidy's belt that spells out different phrases but also only uses like 4 letters. It's a nice detail all on its own, and the association I have with Cassidy makes it even better in my opinion. If you look really closely at Baptiste's hand here, you can also see that he's wearing a mood ring, which just adds to the funkiness a little. The pants are okay, they're not my favorite, but they are still pretty neat and add to this funky design. But what really adds to the design even more than these pants are these chunky boots. They are astounding, and I love the cherry red color with the added height to the soles of his shoes. It just makes those exo jump boots even cooler. His backpack is incredibly retro with all this machinery here and the walkie-talkie on the side, but the best part is this lava lamp. It's so genius. The liquid inside even moves around too. How can you not love that? Baptiste's gun is a whole nother spectacle and really adds a lot of unique touches to this design. I like the way that it's painted on the top side, resembling this retro 70s style, much like the backpack we just looked at. There's also this stripe here that reminds me of the paint you'd see on the side of an old RV or something. There's another groovy symbol that's printed on the side of the gun here. I'm also a big fan of all these smooth and sanded wooden parts. I enjoy the style of this metal reticle at the top. The gun even has its own center console that flashes like a disco ball or to the tune of some music. That's so freaking cool. Another fun detail about this skin, when you throw Baptiste's immortality field while wearing Funky, it changes the animation of it, making the immortality device appear as a disco ball, and it changes the lights underneath it as well. That's super individualized, plus it makes an otherwise standard ability become a hell of a good time. As far as I know, this is Bap's only skin that changes the way his immortality appears, but feel free to correct me in the comments. Funky Baptiste is crazy good and also crazy fun, and it's easily the skin that brings that vibe to the table the most. While I do consider Funky to be Baptiste's most fun outfit to wear, it's only at 4th place, so let's move on to the next one then. We've still got a few more good ones left to look at. Hold on a minute here. How come none of you told me Overwatch did a Star Wars collab? I love Star Wars. Like, come on, why didn't I get the memo here? Oh, wait, that says Star Watch, not Star Wars. Well, I love Star Wars. Floating into 3rd place is another recent Baptiste skin, this one being a shop exclusive one from Overwatch 2, first appearing in Season 4, we have Bounty Hunter. I love space stuff in general, and I really am a fan of things like Star Wars, so to me, this skin is really appealing in a very big way. This silver armor all over it reminds me of the Mandalorian armor, specifically like Jango Fett from Star Wars. Given that this was for a space season and space-themed event, I think that was probably the goal. I mean, the skin's called Bounty Hunter, which is also what most Mandalorians from Star Wars do, so feel like that's a bit on the nose there, Blizzard. Anyways, I am quite fond of this helmet here. It's really one of the coolest looks I think Baptiste has gotten. The thin orange visor is definitely my favorite part. It reminds me of Cyclops from the X-Men, and I think it just looks great, especially with these little studs that pop out from the side like it's some kind of aerosol gas mask thing. The visor also goes really well with this blue prosthetic arm. The prosthetic arm just makes this skin look very unique, giving Baptiste different appearances for his arms, and it just is really cool overall. The backpack is another really cool part about this skin because of these little rings that move around on the bottom. It also has a very obviously planted jetpack on the bottom. The antenna up here also glows ever so slightly, and I think that adds to this skin's appeal. I already said that the armor is pretty cool. I think it would have been better if it was a bit more shiny and on parts other than just the boots and the chest plate, but I also want to talk about these bandolier belts across his chest and his waist. It just adds to that bounty hunter aesthetic, making him seem like a dangerous criminal. I do also like this fur lining on the top of his chest plate, and I think it goes really well with this cloth with some sort of symbol on it, I think representing like the resistance team from the Star Watch event. Contrary to a lot of these other skins I've covered so far, The gun isn't actually my favorite part of this design. It doesn't have too many interesting colors or interesting design elements that stand out from its regular look, but there are a few that are at least somewhat intriguing. I think the grip down here is actually really cool. I like the pattern that's on this part here that resembles like an actual rubber grip in real life. The sniper scope here that also replaces the regular reticle is really cool, and it makes the shape of the gun itself also resemble a sniper rifle. The chambers at the top here also appear to be some kind of grenade launcher or rocket propulsion thing. I mean, this thing at the top literally just looks like a giant rocket, and this thing on the side just resembles a chamber I've seen on a lot of grenade launcher stuff in other games. I'm also a big fan of these glowing projectiles here that also do look like grenades for the launcher, further accentuating that this weapon is crazy. Again, I don't think it's my favorite gun, but these elements do make it stand out enough from its other counterpart. Bounty Hunter is a solid space-themed skin, and I absolutely adore it. I do think that while I in particular am sold by this design as a whole, it does feel kind of simplistic. The armor is all one color, and it doesn't really go over the entire body either. Really, the things that stand out the most are the helmet and the arm. Otherwise, it's just a fairly simple looking outfit. So if you disagree with how high I put Bounty Hunter, don't worry, I totally get it. I'm just super biased and based as
Get over here!
I'm so glad that the Baptiste skin drought has finally concluded, and that it ended on an amazing skin like this. Finally. Making a scene in second place is this Battle Pass skin from Season 10 of Overwatch 2, Scorpion. This is genuinely such a badass skin, and it's really one of the best skins Baptiste has gotten in a long time. Mostly because he hasn't really gotten a new legendary skin in a long time. And even though it doesn't fit with this season's theme, it means we get a new Bap skin, and at this point, I'll take it. The black armor is super cool, paired with the orange glowing highlights like here on the boots and the belt, the chest plate here too. There are even some of these like spotted highlights here that just make it seem all toxic and venomous. Some of these spikes even form full-on scorpion tails, like here on the backpack. And this one also has jiggle physics, so it moves around as you do. Look at it go, man. Also, I just want to point out really quickly, this glove is sick, dude. I definitely approve of this DBZ scanner coming back once again. I like the orange look it has and the way it's slightly curved. And it also goes really well with this black mask. I also really like the shaved head look that he's got going here. It's a very unique look that we haven't seen on Baptiste before, and it just looks great. Baptiste definitely has the freshest cuts in this game. I don't really like how the braid here is like made into a scorpion tail around the side of his head. I think it would be fine if it just was left alone and he just had the shaved head look. But whatever, it's fine. The gun has to be my favorite part about this skin, and at this point, that seems to be a recurring theme with these incredible Baptiste skins. All of this gold trim all over the whole gun makes it look like it's actually a golden gun, and it isn't. It's just that good looking. It's got the orange and black dots that make the venomous spikes again, and this red one at the top of the chamber here is just phenomenal. Look at how sick this reticle is, man. Like, what is going on here? I love everything about this gun, and I really hope that we can get better ones like this in the future. It's got the spikes, it's got multicolored highlights, it's got all the swagger you could ever need. Scorpion is an excellent skin, and I hope in the future Baptiste can continue to get cool skins that are original like this one, at least a little bit more frequently too. It's definitely one of the most intimidating looks Baptiste has ever gotten, and I think it really deserves this spot on my ranking. However, it's not my favorite Baptiste skin. So let's go ahead and go to number 1 on this legendary ranking video. If you're any kind of Baptiste fan, I think you know exactly what's going to be number 1 on this ranking. I feel like this is too much of an easy no-brainer. So, without further ado, in first place we have this Archives event legendary from Overwatch 1, Talon. This has to be the best skin in Bap's entire wardrobe, bar none. There's not a thing I dislike about it personally, and there's so much I could gush over about it for an infinite amount of time. Infinity is a long time though, so to spare you an incredibly long video, and myself a nondescript amount of editing, I'll just hit some of the high points. To start, I absolutely love the colors on this skin. The bright reds towards the top, paired with the white here on the armor, then this dark cloth with this sort of faded purple armor on the bottom. It all comes together really nicely, and really makes those red highlights pop. His hair being changed to these thicker locks is really cool, and also very distinct, because this style is only featured on this skin, giving it a real edge over the others we've looked at by having this individualized hairstyle. The one-eyed visor makes another return, and is another great addition as well. I dig the colors as well as its shape. Given how the other visors are all holographic and this one is more solid, it also gives that feel of it being an older style of technology, because this skin is also referencing past Baptiste lore. The red cloth is probably one of the best parts about this skin, and the Talon symbol that's on it adds a little flair to what would otherwise be a probably very bland red cloth. As I said a second ago, this skin is a reference to Baptiste's lore, and does a pretty superb job. For those who don't know, I'll give a very quick summary. Baptiste's backstory is that he was formerly part of the Caribbean military before being recruited into Talon by Malga. Eventually, he saw the evil that Talon was committing and decided to flee from the organization to make the world a better place on his own terms. The last thing I wanted to talk about with Talon Baptiste was this gun, which goes insanely hard. It's my favorite Baptiste gun by far, and quite fitting for my favorite Bap skin. The colors on it match the upper body on the skin itself, with this white background and bright red highlights on it. I like the spikes that jut out from the top of the barrel here. It just adds more of an evil flair to it. I also enjoy how some of these red segments are see-through, like on the side of the clip here, as well as this Talon symbol. Speaking of the Talon symbol, it's definitely the best part about this gun. Not only is it cool and badass, but it glows in the dark too. It looks so badass in game, especially when you're playing on the nighttime maps. It really just stands out. I love Talon Baptiste for its design, its color scheme, the weapon, and for the story it brings to one of my favorite Overwatch characters. While I don't think it's a perfect skin, to me, Talon is the closest skin Bap has so far to being perfect. And until the Overwatch team can come up with a better skin than this, which please do, I would love to have more cool Bap skins, Talon takes the cake on this ranking as my all-time favorite #1 legendary Baptiste skin. Before I end this video, I just want to give you a personal shout out for watching through this entire video. The next skin ranking will be for a damage hero, so be sure to leave a comment below to secure your favorite damage heroes ranking, and you can check out what heroes I've already ranked using the playlist on my channel page or in the description below. If you like the video, hit the like button for me, and be sure to check out some of my other content on this channel, and if you really enjoyed what you saw, do me a huge favor and hit subscribe so you don't miss any future content. We're on the road to 1,000 subs, and we'd love for you to stick around. I also wanted to add this brief segment here thanking you guys so much for your patience in waiting for this video to release. I certainly never intended to be gone this long, or for this video to take this much time to make. I was planning to get this video done in June. I even used the Pride Month version of Midtown for the thumbnail, and as I'm recording this, it's already July. All this effort wasn't for lack of trying either. My job's been working me double time lately, and it sapped all my energy to do pretty much everything, including working on videos. Life likes to get crazy and get in the way, and there's just not much you can do about that, unfortunately. I'm also working towards getting a new computer, which was another thing that was taking up some of my time, because computers are expensive. If I can get my hands on one soon, this might also be the last video I make on my current setup, which means we may be back on Twitch very soon. So if that interests you, be sure to follow me over at twitch.tv/Ryujin3838, where you can watch me play games and chat with you guys live. I hope with this video finally releasing, I can be back on YouTube more consistently, so be on the lookout for more content coming your way. And not just for Overwatch content either. That's all from me. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.